Greetings, fellow Salt and Sassers, and welcome to another video on solo RPGs. Today I want to talk to you about A Cat's Dream, which is a solitaire adventure RPG by Toby Abad. Now, this cover probably looks super plain. This is not actually the cover of the game. This game is only available via PDF, but I don't enjoy really working off a screen for role-playing games, and I wanted to test out Lulu as a printer, so I basically got this printed, so this is my cover. The actual art of the game looks a lot more like this, which is a bit more inspiring and actually conveys pretty well the feel of the game. A Cat's Dream is introduced as follows. Every now and then, for reasons they alone would know, a cat leads a person to an unexpected journey. They walk up to a person, stare at them until the person notices them and brings them to where the adventure begins. Only those curious enough to follow find themselves led down a strange alleyway, unfamiliar paths, and twisting corridor until they are brought to a place where they, deep down, desperately needed to go. Some say this is because cats know the secret passages that exist between rooms, between streets, between cities, and maybe even between worlds. Cats can be feisty, demanding your attention one moment and then completely carefree and aloof the next. Many have offered ways to care for and understand one's pet cat. But know this, if a cat ever offers to lead you somewhere, do not hesitate. Follow. If you don't, you've lost the chance to experience something that only happens once in a lifetime. The premise of this solo game is actually a bit like a Studio Ghibli movie in which, a cat brings a child down to a alternate world. That's sort of the idea of this game. So it's very whimsy, it's very pleasant, it's great for people like me who are cat lovers. The system is run mainly through a deck of cards, although some dice are also required, 6-sided dice. The setup is actually simple. We don't even have a character sheet for this game. What we have here is a description of the play area, which is where we'll place the cards in the future to basically resolve challenges. So to create a character, you're encouraged to basically either imagine or draw a card and choose from some option the kind of person you are. So are you a student, a parent, a pilot, a blue-collar worker? What do you want? Visit your mom, go on an adventure, find a friend, taste something, know something, transform, fall in love. And then you are actually a bit of a twist on your personality. Maybe you hate cats, which I think is hilarious. Can't step out. You lost something valuable. You are a ghost. And then some name options. So super easy character creation. Again, mostly narrative driven, no stats related to your particular character. This is more about sort of creating the person you want to pretend to be. And then what you would do is choose the length of your game. So this is the number of basically random events you're likely to encounter during your game. So a short one would be 5 to 9, standard 10, long 10 to 15. I usually play a short one. This kind of game, kind of like mechanic, more like a whimsy travel down, like a fun dream world situation, I think lends itself well to the short setup. But of course, mileage might vary, depends on people. And I usually play without the jokers because that's easier. And so what one would do is first draw some journey cards. So say that we were playing the shortest game possible, which is a 5-event game. We would set up 5 cards up here. Here we are. And the story deck would go over here. And then we would begin with the creation of our first encounters. The start of the adventure actually begins with your cat. So the first thing you do is that you would roll a 6-sided die 3 times to figure out what kind of cat you run into. So first descriptor, white, gray, black, orange. Is it long coat, solid, harlequin, 2-color, patchwork, pointed? And then a special trait option. So does the cat talk to you? Is that how it gets your attention? Is it ghostly? Did it shape change? Is it walking on walls? So again, I think this conveys kind of the idea of the situation. Like all of a sudden you're going about your life, maybe going to a coffee shop, maybe on your way to school, when you run into a white cat with a long coat that says, man, I'm gonna be late, which is actually very Alice in Wonderland, except with a cat, now that I said it out loud. So pretend that you're more creative than me on camera and roll perhaps something a little more original. And then after that, you imagine how you wish the cat, you met the cat, and then the wish you generated first, might be sort of the lead as to what the journey is about. So the cat leads you to a door. The door can be tiny, glowing, invisible, floating, talking, and it can do different things. Maybe your name's on it. Maybe no one else can see it. As the case may be. And then you step through the door. And it leads you to a place that is mysterious, dangerous. Is it a floating castle? Is it a steampunk village? So creating a bit of a dream world for you to go into. And in this place, maybe object can talk. Maybe you used to draw it as a child. Again, trying to create both a backstory so that you can build the future story on. So same thing like filled with your imaginary friends. That's an interesting idea because it makes you reflect, okay, my character that you created already, with imaginary friends weren't part of that, but then you can go back and forth into like who you are that will drive where the story is going. So that's pretty neat. And then before we go into the journey, we have the first encounter, which required the roll of a 6-sided die and draw a card. So roll the die. We'll do it together. 4. And then we draw a card, which can be a red or this is a red. So I probably should have taken a more standard deck of cards, but Beth Sobel's art is so pretty. So this is a red card. So for a red card would be an irritating bird. So the first person I meet on the other side of this door is an irritating bird. And then what happens here? 1. And this irritating bird is issuing me a challenge of some kind. Now this is basically more of a like starter point for your story. So at this point they don't necessarily suggest an encounter resolution. This is more of a like get you going. And then after that, for other encounters, in case you need to generate NPCs, this is the table you can use, which does come up a fair bit. And otherwise, we can begin the journey by drawing. So say that the bird challenged me to a whistling contest, and I won because I tickled the bird. I don't know. Maybe the bird won. Doesn't matter. Now I feel like crap. I'm here. I don't know why. The bird's mocking me. And my first journey card is a 3 of Hearts. So let's see what 3 of Hearts is. 3 of Hearts would be, I would meet nice town folks, and there is a challenge of a Hope 1 challenge. One thing that can be done, by the way, also is to actually flip all of these face up so that you can, oh look, there's my irritating birds, so that you can actually kind of plot out your story a little bit, like how these different prompts might link to one another. I'm not going to do this now. And it looks like I poorly shuffled, but anyway. So maybe the bird is mocking me because why would I do a challenge, a mocking challenge? Then some nice people come and maybe I'm lost, or maybe I don't know what to do. Maybe because I lost the challenge, I now have to do something crazy for the bird. Maybe they asked me to, maybe the bird asked me to go steal some food for him from the town folks. And then I go to the town, and then the town folks are really nice. And now there's a Hope challenge of 1. And then we can see if I win or don't win the challenge. So circling back to maybe the bird told me to get him some food from the town. Maybe because the people are so nice, I am hopeful that they might give me food if I just kind of ask for it, maybe. Technically, a Hope challenge shouldn't be one that is opposed, but maybe we'll go with that. And so what happens for a challenge resolution is that we draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And flip one of them face up. In this case, 8, 9 of clubs. And we would resolve it according to their value. So if you remember from, this is a bit where it gets a little, like it's not difficult, it's just unusual way of resolving. But if you remember this thing, Hope goes to the left and it's linked to Hearts. Strength is under and is linked to Spades. And Fear is Clubs. So when you reveal one face-up card, you have the option of putting it into your Hope or your Strength. If the card has a resonating suit to the type of challenge that it is worth its face value. If it doesn't, it's just worth 1. Now, for this hope contest, I'm supposed to beat a hope of 1, meaning that I should technically try to do a little better than just 1. So maybe I'll assign this 9 of club up here, and then these 2 cards get assigned face down, like such, and then are revealed. So I still get a 1. So, okay, that's a bit boring. Let's just say that I did that better. So that I succeeded at this, so I would succeed at this this challenge, and then I could simply narrate that I went up, I told them about the bird, they say, oh yeah, that bird is it's really the absolute worst, but he's a sucker for blueberries, so why don't you go in those bushes over there, you can gather some blueberries. I do that, bird happy, and I can move on to the next encounter. If I fail, so the townspeople are like, oh, I'm sorry, we would have given you food, we're really nice people, but this bird is an absolute menace and we can't encourage this kind of behavior, so it's a no. Then maybe that would lead me to go to my second encounter to continue my quest to find food for the bird. If you fail a challenge, however, in this game you have the option of trying again. And when you try again, you would discard these 2 cards and draw 2 new ones. We're not faring a whole lot better, but I'm also allowed to roll the dice and add the result to this. An important thing to know also is that as soon as a face card is revealed, that announces the arrival of an NPC to the scene. So generally speaking, if an NPC shows up in a challenge position, it means it's been won, and then the NPC position and color would say if it's an ally or an enemy. In the case of a red strength face card, I believe it would be an ally. And then I could create this NPC to come in using, again, the NPC generator table, which let me draw another card and create a character and tie it into the story. So again, the mechanics are interesting and unusual. Oh, one thing that's important too, I say important, less so for the shorter version of the game, but this deck of cards is actually also a timer. So in a tiny little game like I just did with 5 cards, the timer doesn't really matter. But generally speaking, what happens is that the cards on Hope and Strengths are discarded and the card in Fear gets removed from the game. And this matters because sometimes you can reshuffle some of your discarded cards, but never the ones that are removed. And again, if you need to draw a card and there aren't any, then you basically just wake up with a start in your bed and it's all been a dream and it's over. Versus if you can successfully finish your story, then you would be able to draw the story to a conclusion. This game also comes with advanced rules that actually take a bit of a darker twist. The prompts are a little bit, I think darker is the word that the author uses. It lets the player explore themes of war and through challenges, introduces the possibility of dying. So if you look at the places, for example, we went for a place, people desperate to escape, an injured soldier tired of fighting, mothers and children worrying over their husbands. So it's quite a bit less whimsy, let's put it that way. So I don't usually use this particular variant of the game. That's not what drew me to this particular game. Like I was really in it for the more like, oh look, this cat is talking and it's taking me to this imaginary world, and I can have a borderline nonsensical but somehow sweet and plot twist filled adventure in which, like, again, like very strange things are happening. And that's the fun thing sometimes with journaling RPGs, such as this one, is that like the props shouldn't make sense, but somehow, like, maybe it's my brain that really likes to make sense of things, just kind of finds a way for it to all tie in together. And I don't know where this is going. Technically, no one knows where this is going, but it just ends up working out. I guess I could explain also that there's different type of challenges as discussed. So if I were to do like a strength challenge instead, it would go the same way. We would flip 3 cards. I would reveal 1. Oh, it's a Queen of Hearts. For sure, I would put that into my strength. Well, I mean, it's an automatic win if there's a face card in the place where the contest is taking place. So this would be an automatic win, and because it's a red card, it'd be an ally. So this would be a really obvious decision to make. The other 2 would go wherever. They would be revealed, unsurprisingly this. But the thing too is that for strength challenges, you actually have to beat the fear value, which again in this case is a done deal. But if you play a red card, you can also add the number of the face value of the hope. So there is a little bit more like variety in how the conflicts are resolved. And again, it's actually a very interesting encounter resolution system I haven't seen. I never actually play with the do-over challenge. I personally think that it's better to just accept the failure, especially because the way I play it, there's no real threat of death. And it's good sometimes to fumble in the stories. Like, it makes for a more interesting twist, because I find that if you redraw and roll a die, the odds of success are actually fairly high. And that can take away from the, like, I don't know. When I tell a story like this, it's not just I'm not trying to write a novel. I'm trying to be surprised. So if I get my way all the time, then it gets a little boring. And again, with a shorter game, I don't have the stress of going, well, I'm going to draw more cards out of this deck, which means that I might run out of time to conclude my story. So personally, at least for the shorter game, I don't think that it's a good idea to do a try again on a failed challenge. But that might just be me and the way I like to play. So let me think, is there something else I want to talk to you about? I talked about the additional darker rules, theme. No, I think that's it. Like, this is not a complicated game. I'd say this is a journaling game, but honestly, this is one that is so whimsy. I actually kind of enjoy just not even writing it down. Again, I usually play like very short game. So this is one that I literally just play in my head, and I just imagine the scenes as they go and let it go. So this is not one in which I have journaled it in long form, but this is almost more like a little easy whimsy escape. So this is how I do it. And if you're interested in checking it out, I will put a link to the game in DriveThruRPG. And if you have any questions, as usual, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments below. Have a great day.